name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we have my October book haul. Does anybody remember earlier this year when I was trying to do one book haul every other month because I was trying not to buy as many books? It has not happened. I keep buying books. I think my, not semi-book buying ban, because it was never a book buying ban. It was more of like rules for myself to buy books. I think those have completely flown out the window. Also, I have banana bread in the oven right now, and I have like 18 minutes to film, so we're gonna try and get through these pretty quickly. I don't even know exactly how many books I have to show you guys here, but I guess let's jump into it and we'll count as we go. Just based on where my stacks are, we're actually going to start with the middle grade. I purchased the first 3 books in the School for Good and Evil series by Soman Chainani. So I actually read the first book in this series, The School for Good and Evil, back when it first came out in hardcover. How many years ago is that now? Because I feel like it's been forever. 2013, it's been almost 7 years, or at least 7 years. 2013, but that's when I read it. I read this forever ago, but I read like an ebook version of it, and so I never owned a copy for myself. So for whatever reason, when I was in Barnes & Noble earlier this month, I decided it's a free-for-all in the middle grade section. So I did pick up the first book and then books 2 and 3. So book 2 is A World Without Princes, book 3 is The Last Ever After. This is like the main trilogy. They do have a continuation that I believe is a little bit more Camelot focused, and I think there's 3 books in that as well, but I do want to reread the first one and continue on at least with the trilogy sometime soon, because I really actually did enjoy this one. And so yeah, picked up those 3. Then I also picked up Nevermoor, The Trials of Morgan Crow by Jessica Townsend. This I keep seeing in my Barnes & Noble and people keep buying it on book 2 as well. But the one I had been seeing in my Barnes & Noble was the one that had like a $4.99 sticker on it. It was never a sticker. It was actually like printed on the book, and so even though the book was cheaper, I did not want it. So this one, I think I spent like $9 on it, but it doesn't have that on there, and I'm very, very excited. I don't know much about this, but it's been on my want to read list on Goodreads since this was announced, basically, and everybody has been reading it and loving it. And so I finally picked it up. I do believe there's some sort of magic. Morgan is blamed for all local misfortunes. The worst of all, the curse dooms her to die at midnight on her 11th birthday. I'm just very excited for it, and I'm glad I have my hands on it now. And then I also picked up hardcovers of The Dragon Warrior and The Fallen Hero by Katie Zhao. So this one is the one that came out last year, and I just, for whatever reason, kept putting off actually picking it up. But this one came out this month, and I had pre-ordered it, so I got both of them to come in. I'm very, very excited for this. These are middle grade, obviously. Tammy from Tammy Tries to Read read both of these already and like loved them, and that just made me want to pick them up even more. So I don't actually know too much about these either, except for the fact that I do believe our main character lives in San Francisco's Chinatown, I believe it is, and she ends up helping defeat a demon, or by herself defeats a demon during like Lunar New Year, and it's gonna have Chinese like terms and themes and everything like that, and I'm very, very excited for these. And so that was our middle grade, so we're gonna move on to everything else. One thing I do have here is a Kickstarter that I helped kickstart earlier this year. This is Bang Bang Boom Volume 2 by Melanie Schoen. I'm bad at names. And I actually helped kickstart the first volume of this 1 to 2 years ago. Read it, really enjoyed it. This is a magical, like 1920s gang sort of story. It also is LGBTQ male-male romance, and I don't remember much of the first volume except for the fact that I really did enjoy it. It had some twists and turns that I wasn't prepared for, which I thought was really good. Like, it didn't necessarily come out of left field, but I think this was a webcomic first, and I had never actually read it as a webcomic, so when I read the first volume, I was really caught up in the story and enjoyed those twists and turns. And this is volume 2. I'm gonna have to reread volume 1 before I get to volume 2, but I'm very excited to continue the story. The art style is what drew me in first. Like, it is gorgeous. I'm so excited to continue. Then we have We Were Restless Things by Cole Nagamatsu. I actually already read this one as an e-arc. I will leave the link to the vlog for that link down below, but I had pre-ordered it as well because the cover is gorgeous. I'm not too sure if I'm going to end up keeping this because of the fact that I was very, very torn both ways on the actual e-arc. But one thing that I have noticed in this book here, just by flipping through it, we do have some like journal pages, because I know part of this is also like Nomi's dream journal, and let me tell you, those pages are gorgeous, and like we have pictures and stuff, so I'm a little tempted to eventually reread this with the whole experience and see how I feel about it, knowing what I felt about it the first time, because the biggest issue with this for me was it was very, very slow, especially at the beginning. But the cover's gorgeous, and I'm really liking like the art style stuff. Found pages almost inside. Then we have The Iron Queen by Julie Kagawa. This is one of the new covers. They're coming out like one a month basically. So I think The Iron Knight comes out in November or December, and then I'll have the whole quadrilogy, maybe. There are more in the series, but it's like a spin-off series. But I read these forever ago, really, really enjoyed them, and so I had to pick up the pretty new covers because this is my aesthetic. Like, this is so gorgeous. I'm really loving a lot of the new covers they're coming out with lately as like redone covers, but I don't like it when they change them in the middle of the series. So I'm so happy that this is technically, I think, the 10th anniversary edition of the first book. That's why they got new covers, and they're gorgeous. I also picked up Spoiler Alert by Olivia Dade. I am so excited to read this one. This is an adult romance that has a plus-size main character. It has themes of like fan fiction and cosplay and fandom in general, and I'm so excited. I've had quite a few people that I consider friends on BookTube read and love this one, so I definitely want to get to it. I'm hoping to get to it this year, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to try and fit it in like next month, but I'm so ready for it. I also picked up Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Cesare. Of course, I had to pick up another spooky book because this is October, and I don't know much about this except for I think it's a killer clown, and people have been really enjoying the like fast-paced nature of it, like the ride. I'm loving the like actual clown face in this cornfield right here. And this is another one that I really, really, really want to read. I feel like I'm gonna try and fit it in potentially in October if I have time. I have like 3 other things that I'm currently trying to read, but if not, I want to get to it by the end of the year. I just feel like this spookiness is what I'm really enjoying right now, and yeah, I picked it up. I want to read it. Can we see? Oh, okay, so the title, super like shiny, but I have Elatsoe by Darcy Little Badger. This one, again, I don't know much about any of these, like actual knowledge. None. It has gone in one ear, out the other. It gets put on my want to read shelf on Goodreads, and then I forget everything about it. But so many people have been enjoying this one. I know Kayla and Brody have both loved this, and I love their recommendations. And if they like it, I'm most likely going to like it. And I also couldn't help myself because it's actually super, super pretty under the dust jacket. I love when books do this. I need more books to do this. I need publishers and booksellers and everything to advertise that it's pretty under the dust jacket, because if you can show me like before the book comes out, like, hey, guess what? We also have pretty stuff under the dust jacket, I'm like 99% more likely to buy it as soon as possible. I believe this one has to do something with ghosts. Ghosts? She can raise the ghosts of dead animal. Yeah, I'm very excited for it. I love the cover. It's deckled edges and everything too. This is such a well put together book. I just want to read it. I also picked up The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. I've only read the Darker Shade of Magic series by V.E. Schwab, and I read that earlier this year, but I absolutely loved it. I know that this is technically going to be different than most of her series because this is more literary fiction, but she said it's a story after her own heart, and so I'm very excited to read this. I know a lot of people have been reading it lately, and people said it's sort of devastating. They've cried. I'm ready for it, but at the same time, I'm not. But I had to pick it up. This one also has like pretty end papers, and we have like an imprint of some sort of bird on the cover. I don't know what that's supposed to be, but I'm very excited for this as well. We will see when I get to this one. I also picked up The Science of Stephen King. This is by Meg Hafdahl and Kelly Florence. This is a non-fiction look at Stephen King's stories, but through science. So like, how would these things be possible? I have not read this one yet. I'm a little apprehensive because of the fact that it is nonfiction and I don't really do nonfiction. However, the idea of like, how does lack of sleep affect the human body, like in insomnia? Is it possible for horrific creatures to exist like in Night Shift? What is the science behind curses and legends like in Dreamcatcher and Thinner? I'm excited to see about that, you know what I mean? So I definitely picked this up. I know I had somebody comment on my Twitter saying Stephen King did not endorse this book. I feel like this is the same sort of book as those like philosophy of Harry Potter or those kind of ones. The psychology of Game of Thrones. None of those are technically endorsed by the author, but they're still books that you find in all the Barnes and Nobles, that kind of thing. And I'm just very curious to see about this one. It's going to be science-based, talking about his stories. We then also have the Owl Crate book for October, which was Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. The colors of this one are just slightly more pastel, and also the blue and red had switched places. Otherwise, this is the same cover as the original, which I was happy with because the art on this is stunning. I am so excited to read this one. This one is supposed to be like Black Girl Magic, but also an Arthurian legend type of story. And let me tell you, at one point in my life, like a few years ago, I was obsessed with King Arthur and Arthurian legend, and so I'm very excited for this one. This is another one that everybody seems to love, and so I definitely want to get to it. And then the last thing that I have here to show you guys, all of the Night World books by L.J. Smith. I saw people talking about this on Twitter, and basically what they were talking about was the fact that they've been waiting for like over 20 years for book 10 in this series. And I had known about this series with that fact for a while, but when they were talking about it, they were talking about the title of the 10th book, which I don't remember what that was. And I was like, what are they talking about? Like, I couldn't remember that this was what they were talking about. So I looked it up on Goodreads, and it showed me this cover for book 1, not the more recent covers, this cover from like 1990 something. And I am in love with these sort of mass market teen YA paranormal horror books. I know that doesn't cover all the books that came out in the 1990s for teens, and it's sometimes paranormal, sometimes horror, it just depends on like the author. But this aesthetic of the covers, I absolutely love. I don't know what this series is even about. I think there's vampires. I mean, this one's called... There's my banana bread timer. I did not make it. Let me go get that out, and then I will be right back. So, as I was saying, I don't even really know what these are fully about, except for, I think it's vampires. The title of this one is called Secret Vampire. So, I feel like that's a pretty good guess. That should be what it is. But I bought them because of the covers. I actually bought all 9 books. It came as a lot through eBay, and I think I bought them all for like $15 because I think it was free shipping or a couple bucks for shipping. I don't know. But I'm very excited to have them. I don't know when I'll get through them. I know book 10 is probably never going to come out, but here's book 1, Secret Vampire. Book 2, Daughters of Darkness. Book 3, Spellbinder. Dark Angel, The Chosen, Soulmate, Huntress, Black Dawn, and Witchlight. So yeah, like I said, I got them all for like 15 bucks. I'm very excited to have these. I just absolutely love the way these covers are done, and I had to pick them up. And then that is everything. How many books did I actually have this month? 24 books. That's not horrible. For me, I've definitely bought more in a month before. 9 of them were an impulse purchase, you know, like last week. So not what I was really expecting to do, because I literally only went to Barnes & Noble once this month at the beginning of the month, and I bought a few things, but like I only went once. Whereas like last month I went like 3 times to pick up pre-orders. So it wasn't like horrible, but I didn't actually have any pre-orders this month except for, spoiler alert, and then The Fallen Hero actually came from Amazon. So I think I did pretty well. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Let me know if you've actually read any of these yet, because I'm super excited for most of the ones here. Like, I cannot contain my excitement. Subscribe to this channel if you would like to see more videos. I do have videos up Mondays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye!